Hey folks, Jimmy from the Undercard here again. Welcome to episode 96 Clip Show. In a rare occasion, we'll be airing the episode in almost its entirety, so we hope you enjoy.
Live from Detroit, it's the Undercard. The Undercard brings you live MMA and pro boxing coverage. Each week, we will bring you feature interviews, major event coverage, up-and-coming talent, training tips, and the hottest ring girls from around the nation. The Undercard is powered by Goomba Music. And here are your hosts, Brad and Marvin.
Welcome to the Undercard Sunday edition. After a Mayweather fight, so it's a pretty good technical breakdown of a show.
Yeah.
No Marv today, he's on vacation, but basically, Mayweather last night.
Yeah.
That's all you can say is just one word,
Mayweather.
Mayweather.
It's like the myth that is only spoken in hushed whispers. Just Mayweather. If you say his name 3 times in front of a mirror, he will appear.
Right, exactly. We were at Thomas McGee's last night.
We were.
The fight. A lot of people come out. Whether you want them to win, whether you want them to lose, people come out and watch Mayweather.
Yeah, it was a good crowd. It's a good crowd.
And so, I'm going to break it down here in a second here. But first off, let's talk about typical stuff you see with Mayweather that did not happen last night. He walked into the ring focused.
Yeah,
no music.
No, and it didn't look.
It was like
he had
bomb sirens or something.
Yeah, he didn't have like any posse or anything that was walking out with him. No Bieber, no Little John, Little Wayne, Little Mac. I mean, nobody.
Little Mac.
Little Mac's from Mike Tyson's Punch-Out.
Thought you were talking about the street in St. Clair Shores.
Yeah.
He looked focused and pissed off, really. That's what I gathered from it. I think Maidana probably nothing fazed him, but even if you're ready for that fight and see that Mayweather doesn't have his typical how he's going to come out with all his entourage, it had to do something a little bit psychologically to you. So let's just break down the fight here a little bit, what I saw last night, and we'll go from there. We talked about the ring entrance, a little bit different than I would have thought with Mayweather, but hey, he can do anything. His nerves are completely calm. So let's start from the Maidana side of the fight. Cardio has been an issue with Maidana. He kind of tanked the first fight, and you could see that Garcia, his trainer, wanted him to start off a little bit slower and stuff. But what happened was Mayweather did not buy into that and jumped all over him, just throwing left after left after left jab. Even when Maidana had his gloves closely held together, Mayweather's jab was able to find its way through the gloves. He was able to take control right away in the fight. I believe the stat was Maidana only landed 2 punches in the first round. So Mayweather starts off and is just going to town. Next thing you know, which is typical with any Mayweather fight, is basically he gets you to miss with the jab. He leans back a little bit, and then that right comes. It's a counter punch. And when he started throwing the right, he was connecting with Maidana. And basically, the 4th round, Mayweather took the round off. The previous round, he had got hit pretty good by Maidana and was probably going to take a round off anyways. It was Maidana's best round. He was trying to work, trying to do something. And then what happened was kind of interesting. Maidana probably caught him 3 times during the fight. But I was reading last night, people were talking about Mayweather dancing around, and we'll get to the 12th round, and the 12th round's totally different, and I'll explain why. But let's get to what happened after the 4th round. He had Maidana backing up. Mayweather was the aggressor in the fight. So if you say he wasn't the aggressor in the fight, you weren't watching. If you notice, Maidana for the first time was stepping back and moving away from Mayweather as Mayweather pressed forward. And I don't know if Mayweather had hurt Maidana. I know he hurt him in maybe the 5th or 6th round. He had that brutal body shot to the solar plex, which Mayweather's not known for power, but you could see the grimace on Marcos Maidana's face and stuff like that. And then what happened was Maidana started getting frustrated. He, whatever game plan him and Garcia came up with, it doesn't matter. Mayweather figures it out and dominates. And he was once again very quick over Marcos Maidana. And come 8th round during a tie-up, Floyd Mayweather alleges that he was bit by Marcos Maidana through the glove. I've watched it, and I seem to think he was bit. Now, here's the thing, though. I don't think it broke the glove. I don't think the broken skin that Mayweather showed was from the bite. Because I felt a boxing glove before, and he did have a mouthpiece in. But when that first camera angle they showed, you could see that his facial features changed, and almost like it looked like Marcos Maidana did bite. So from there, you have a breakage, which the ref Bayless did not see it. They checked his hand, and basically the fight goes on. But then Maidana was on very, very short leash. Later, he's had a point taken away from him for it looked like an elbow that kind of knocked over Mayweather at the time, and then Bayless was done with that. Brings us to the 12th round. I had only one round going to Marcos Maidana at that time. He had also lost a point, and Floyd Mayweather decided to dance around, and you know what? He earned that in the 12th round. Here's my theory on this. Floyd Mayweather is the best in the sport right now, maybe probably the best athlete in the world right now. And basically, he earns the right, because Marcos Maidana is going to throw everything in the kitchen sink, and you were just bit by the guy. The previous fight, you were hitting the private region by him. You were hitting the back of the head. I think at that time, you just kind of dance around, give Marcos Maidana the round. You won it. You coasted and dominated, and no one's going to leave the arena thinking that Marcos Maidana won the fight. Except later last night, Marcos Maidana said he did not bite, but he did win the fight. So I don't know what Maidana thought he did to win the fight last night. Clearly, he had to know that he was not winning the fight, and the frustration came out. But so typical Mayweather, just dominant. I could watch him move back from a punch and then hit with the right on a counter all day long. His jab looked impressive. He later said last night he couldn't feel his left hand after being bit. So, like I said, I don't know how much that is true. I do think he was bit, though. And Floyd Mayweather, absolutely perfect. Domination, just shutout. And what I said earlier this week, if you remember, Jimmy, is that he would figure him out quicker, it would be over quicker, and it was. Yep. And that's why I thought this rematch should have never happened. Anyone that knows boxing knows that Maidana just fought dirty the first time, and that Floyd Mayweather, given the chance to outclass him, would just dominate, and he did. And he's just getting better at 37. He was later asked that night, though, about the Manny Pacquiao fight, and he said he's open to it. I posted on our Facebook, and I got to find it here really quick because I want to get the quote absolutely correct, because no one really truthfully cares what I say, but maybe people would care what former heavyweight champion of the world, Evander Holyfield, said. And he had actually a really good point about why Mayweather has to fight Pacquiao. And let me find the quote here.
I'm going to look for it, too. Keep going, Brad. Okay. I'm going to look for it.
Yeah, thank you very much. So, stellar fashion. I think, though, of some funny moments, I like to always, for people that didn't get to see the fight, funny moments. Poor Mike Tyson just sitting there trying to catch a fight. And, of course, Marcos Maidana has to bite him. So the next thing you know, the cameras are on Mike Tyson. A couple rounds later, just like, because he's, known for the Holyfield bite.
Right. Did you ever see that commercial? I can't remember what it was for, but they did a funny little commercial. I think it was during the Super Bowl or something like that, where Tyson shows up at Holyfield's house with a little tiny box, and he gives him his ear back as kind of like a goodwill gesture or something. I thought that was pretty cool, and I like that both Tyson and Holyfield bought into it.
Oh, that's cool. No,
yeah.
I didn't even see that. You know what? I can't find it, so I'm just going to type it in really.
Yeah, I can't find it either.
Well, there we go. But so, hopefully the pay-per-view numbers come back pretty strong, and we'll see that over the next couple weeks. What happens? Man, I can't find that quote now. But anyways, Holyfield said for him to be champion in his mind or one of the best ever, he has to go through Pacquiao. And then that would be where you evaluate the competition. I think at this point, Mayweather, he was guaranteed $33 million. I think the paydays will be too big to turn down the Pacquiao fight. I don't want to see Amir Khan. I don't want to see Miguel Cotto again. People that Mayweather's going to walk right through. I want to see Pacquiao take care of business versus Algeria on November 22nd, which is a long ways away, but hopefully he does in Macau, and basically we get the fight that everybody would want, and then that would just be a party year for the undercard, because no matter what happens, there's another rematch, and
right.
So it'll be pretty good. I'll have to find the exact quote. I thought I put it, but Holyfield basically summed up what everybody's been saying, and Mayweather has earned my respect since I've been in the boxing community, and basically now, to further it and be TBE, the best ever, you have to go and fight somebody that is also considered the best ever in your
division.
Not only class. Division, your time era is kind of what I'm looking at. Yeah, because they match up in weight. You got to go out there, you got to go challenge it and stuff like that. Jimmy, what did you think of the fight?
It was really. I mean, we were at Thomas McGee's last night, and I was doing stuff with the Ring Girls as well, so I didn't catch like every little thing. But I actually watched that the bite, or the supposed bite, over and over again on replays and stuff like that, and I honestly, it's kind of hard to say. Yes, I saw Mayweather's expression change, but what it seemed more to me was that Mayweather was pushing his glove up, and Maidana kind of got where his wrist would be, and I don't think he necessarily bit him, but he might have gummed him a little bit or something, just kind of like he was moving his mouth to breathe, and just happened to catch his radial nerve, and that's why. But then Mayweather made a big deal out of it. Oh, he bit me, oh, my hand. But you know what? I'm sorry, with that much padding and a mouth guard in, even if you were to bite somebody, you're not going to do that much damage to them.
Exactly. And that it's such a small point of the fight. I know people are making a little
big deal out of it.
Yeah, because Mayweather was dominating, and it didn't.
Oh, he was. Yeah. Well, and that's what you were talking about. The first thing. I mean, Mayweather. Maidana would go towards him, and Mayweather would be jumping back and forth, doing what is that called? The slalom thing or whatever, where he's his legs are going to both sides, which way am I going to go? Which way am I going to go? Which way? Nope, you got it wrong. I mean, that was kind of it was almost like he was teasing him, come and get me. I dare you. I dare you. I dare you. Whoop, you missed me again.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I agree. You were talking about towards later in the fight that he was the aggressor, and he was backing Maidana down before, and I've really never seen that before in a Mayweather fight, where Mayweather's more the aggressor and actually pushing the other opponent back. Is usually Mayweather letting them come to him, slipping, slip in the jab, slip in and out or whatever, getting his shots in, but kind of seemed like Mayweather was all right, look, I gave you this fight. We're going to fight. I'm actually going to come after you this time. What are you going to do?
Exactly. He was quick to get off the ropes. He didn't stay there too long in this fight. The one thing I got to point out is that I don't understand if he had a full training camp. Last time Marcos Maidana, because he had, I believe it was a baby girl, he had a 6-week camp, and this he had a full 8-week camp. I don't understand how cardio is an issue that you would change your game plan so much. I know Mayweather will wear you down, but at that level, when cardio becomes an issue, I just don't get it. It seems like you should be able to, that shouldn't be. I don't know why he started off so slow, and once Mayweather's able to pile up rounds, you're just absolutely in trouble. Let's talk a little bit about the undercard. Leo Santa Cruz with a vicious knockout of Manuel Roman. That was on the undercard. Anyone that knows boxing, Santa Cruz is just absolutely an entertaining fighter. He's probably the future of pay-per-views down the road. He has a lot of people that follow him. He's very exciting. He throws a lot of punches. He started off last night very slow, wasn't throwing a lot of punches, but that was by strategy to try to get the fight to go longer. But Roman couldn't handle it at all. We also had Vasquez versus Mickey Bay. It kind of happened exactly how we were talking at Thomas McGee's about happening, in which Mickey Bay, a lot of people had on their scorecard him losing to Vasquez, but here Mickey Bay is a Mayweather fighter fighting out of Las Vegas, 3-1 favorite. 3-1 underdog, and he comes up with I believe it was a split decision win. Yep. And he is now the IBF world title holder. And then on a sad note, because I really do like him as a fighter, Alfredo Angulo went against De La Rosa. De La Rosa knocked him down early. Angulo, who has a lot of heart, who comes to fight. Basically, his eye was tore up again. This is something we've seen in the Canelo fight. He's on a 3-fight skid now. And basically, De La Rosa, in the last 2 rounds, traded blows with Angulo, which I thought, overall in the night, the last 2 rounds of the Angulo-De La Rosa fight were the best fighting going on the whole time. So a lot of people gave the undercard a lot of heat. You saw that people were like, oh, this undercard wasn't that good. But I tell you what, there were some interesting people that you wanted to see. I wanted to see where Angulo was in his career. His career may be over. Let's be honest. A 3-fight skid plus a bad eye. That's something you don't joke about. I wanted to see if Vasquez could get a favorable decision against Mickey Bay. I do have to say this about Mickey, though. Mickey did look sharp. He looked quicker. He had definitely some upside and is probably the best fighter in the Mayweather stable. And then Santa Cruz now has to step up his level of competition. He can't fight somebody like a Manuel Roman anymore. He has to find somebody that will fight him. He's kind of like a Golovkin, just a fun guy to watch, a lot of power, produces a lot of knockouts. And so that's my thoughts on the undercard. Overall, a pretty decent pay-per-view. I do have a problem with them starting at 8. I do have a problem with Mayweather weird. Hitting the ring at 10:30.
It was 11.
Oh, was it 11?
It was 11. The fight before ended at 10:30, and the Mayweather fight actually started at like 11:02 or something like that. So yeah, I was paying attention, but yeah, it was 11 o'clock that the Mayweather fight started. But that was like way too early.
Right, and we were talking to Thomas McGee's owner, Eric, and basically how much that hurts a bar.
Yeah.
People come for the main event. A lot of boxing fans don't care about the undercard. They spend money during the main event. And
that's what it seemed to be like. People were coming, like, you would come like maybe a couple of fights before the main event, get yourself situated, get your drinks ordered, and then you were there. But people weren't showing up until closer to the main event because it had started so early, and then the fight was over at midnight or something like that. So people started to leave. I mean, bars open until 2 o'clock. You want that fight to start later so that people continue to spend that money until 2 o'clock.
Exactly. No, I totally agree with that. The other thing too about the early start is it's the same too with people that actually have tickets to the events. If you watch, you'll always see the undercard never has the full front seat. People come for that main event. Seemed like an earlier start, but for whatever reason, it happened, and that's where we're at. So we're gonna go to a quick music break. Sebastian Avenue has something. We met people last night that knew you, Avenue. I know Jimmy was filling you in.
Yeah, that was interesting.
They listen to the show and they know you, so you're
that's what's up.
They
Team Undercard, baby.
I appreciate that.
They at least know your voice, Sebastian.
Stop it.
And then Marv's not been here in so long. They're like, Marv, who?
Yeah, exactly. I had somebody ask me, they're like, did you replace Marv? I'm like, no.
Oh, really quick before the music break, I want to give a shout out to 9-round, 30-minute kickboxing fitness. We were there for the grand opening in Farmington Hills, Michigan. Ring girl Erica actually performed some of it. I tell you what, Slava had us out there for the ribbon cutting. Very fun, very kind of like energetic atmosphere. They do stations, so like they're whenever you come in every 3 minutes, there's another time to.
So it's circuit training.
Yeah, exactly. And the cool thing is that I had a chance to watch Slava and his staff work, and they're right on top of you, so you're almost getting like personal training fitness with it, because you can tell that Slava is very passionate about the business and stuff. And, once again, it's mixing a little bit of boxing, so it was really cool. So I appreciate you having us out there. That is at 29220 Orchard Lake Road, Farmington Hills, Michigan. Their phone number is 248-973-7937, and that's 9-round, 30-minute kickboxing fitness. We're going to go song break, and we'll be back in one moment. Welcome back to the Undercard, everybody. A couple songs from the Police, Avenue's favorite, right?
Woo! Yeah, actually, I do like the Police. Yeah.
Who doesn't like the Police? Except, criminals.
Not bad. Not bad joke. So we're just going to talk about some of the other side stories from last night's fight. Amir Khan apparently got his visa and was able to get into Las Vegas last night to watch the fight, and all he did was talk about how he would be an unbelievable fit against Mayweather, how he can beat him, how he wants to fight him in May, and then he said something crazy like, I want to fight him in the UK or something like that. First off, that's not going to happen. Mayweather's going to finish off in Vegas his next two fights. I don't see him fighting anywhere else. But here's what I got to say about Amir Khan is that you've not earned it, and not only have you not earned it, I don't like when people call out people like that when they haven't earned it. So that's what I got to say about Amir Khan. But I did like when Keith Thurman then called out Amir Khan and said that, hey, I'll fight you, and I'll fight you in the UK. And he says that he'll KO him. Everybody that knows Keith Thurman, 23-0 with 21 knockouts, unbelievable power, going against Amir Khan, who is 29-3 with 19 KOs, but also a glass chin that has been exposed in the past. So I think it's awesome that Amir Khan calls out Mayweather. I don't listen. But then Keith Thurman calls out Amir Khan, and I was like, well, A, how does it feel? And then B, it would be perfect. That's actually a good fight for both of them. If Amir Khan thinks that he is an elite athlete, he's got to beat a Keith Thurman, and then Keith Thurman needs to take, once again, those steps up and become a better boxer and stuff. But Keith Thurman, we were talking a little bit about Santa Cruz being the future of the sport. Keith Thurman is the future of the sport. He's entertaining. People like him. He's mixed a little bit of boxing now with that power. So he is exciting. So that is very promising. I hope that fight happens down the road, but Amir Khan, I do not hope happens. Like, we're going to hold out for the Mayweather, lottery and hope to God this fight happens. And even then, I would rather Mayweather, I think, fight Miguel Cotto next year if it can't be Pacquiao. Also, Oscar De La Hoya was talking. He was in the ring last night. He's made a couple rounds here, but he said that he's interested in having maybe Pacquiao fight one of his fighters. Said Cold War is nearly 100% over. The Cold War being that of Golden Boy Promotions and Top Rank. Bob Arum has now made peace with Oscar De La Hoya and so on, and Schaefer has left the company. The only problem maybe left in the wayside is Al Heyman, of course. He's never seen really too much around anymore, but he manages a lot of the fighters that are promoted by Golden Boy but are actually not signed by Golden Boy. Al Heyman would have to make peace with HBO for a lot of these fights to happen. If Pacquiao does not get a shot at Mayweather, I think him versus Danny Garcia would be a legacy fight for him. Danny Garcia, I think, would be a good matchup for Manny Pacquiao, and maybe as a way to send him up against what people consider a strong fighter in Danny Garcia, a good way to end your career. So lots of side stories last night. The bad thing is, and I said it earlier on the show, is the waiting game for November 22nd. I wish Pacquiao fought tomorrow. Yeah. I wish, or tonight. And we could see how close this fight is actually being done. Manny Pacquiao, I believe, knows now he has to make concessions. Mayweather said two things. And no longer is it drug testing or anything like that, and I'm sure it would be, but he said that Manny Pacquiao has to fight on Showtime. It's possible. I don't see why not. And 2, the fight probably has to happen in Las Vegas, which Manny Pacquiao fights in Las Vegas shouldn't be too much of a problem. So hopefully, hopefully it wasn't Mayweather just being Mayweather and putting on a show last night, and he honestly wants to fight Manny Pacquiao.
Yeah.
I tell you what. As good as he's looking right now, it doesn't matter who you're fighting. And the money, I'm just going to estimate probably about 70 to 150 million each of those fighters would get, both of them.
For the fight.
For the fight.
I totally agree with that.
And Manny Pacquiao has to make the concessions that he's not going to get a 50-50 split. He's not the same Manny Pacquiao just because of, 1, bad luck with the Bradley loss, and then 2, the Marquez knockout.
Right.
But he could maybe get a rematch in which it is a 50-50 split if there was to be a draw, if there was to be him win. But still, that's a lot of money.
So let me ask you this. Going forward, if the Pacquiao fight can't happen, you say that you want to see Cotto fight Mayweather next, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Now, so if Mayweather fights Cotto next, then would Pacquiao have to fight somebody again and then they do their fight, or could Mayweather be the next Pacquiao fight? I think if Mayweather doesn't fight Pacquiao in May, it's not going to happen. It's just my personal opinion. Okay.
They're both at their very end of their career, only have a couple fights left. It's just not going to happen. I like how it lines up, though. I don't like that Pacquiao's fighting November 22nd, but I do like how it lines up that it gives them a couple months before a fight would be even announced with Mayweather to maybe get things going in the right direction. Yeah. A lot can happen now between November 22nd. And once again, we have to have Pacquiao fight an up-and-comer Chris Algieri, who knows? I mean, Algieri has much more of a shot of beating Pacquiao than
Maidana had of beating Mayweather.
Exactly.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Now let me ask you this too. So Mayweather's got 2 more fights scheduled with Showtime. If he wins both of those fights, which we have no reason to believe that he won't. Oh, is that your computer?
I don't think it's mine.
Yeah, it's you.
All right. Okay. Sorry about that.
If he has 2 more fights, if he wins both fights, which we have no reason to believe that he won't, that'll put him at 49-0. Do you think he's going to take the 1 more fight so that he has a 50-0? Because a 50 looks better than 49. 50 is a nice round number. It's a great, it's 5-0. It's a half 100. Do you think maybe he would take 1 more fight after that?
Right. Somebody talked about a casino last night, and I don't know the casino they're talking about. But
it's going to opening up or something?
Opening in 2015, and they could see them giving Mayweather a lot of money. I think he'll want 50 when he gets there at 49. I think it has to do with how good, if he's as sharp as he looked last night, why? I mean, if
why
you're
not?
at your peak, right?
Yeah, exactly.
He doesn't look 37. I mean,
No.
I'm 37, and so I can relate with this. Like,
I'd be like with the first 3 minutes of the first round, I'd be like, wait a minute, I gotta catch my breath. Okay, let's go.
I mean, we walk the same path, except he's a multimillionaire, and he's in incredible shape. But other than that, we walk the same path of being 37. We both eat McDonald's. Right.
Yeah, exactly.
We both eat McDonald's. Right, exactly.
We both hate hot yoga.
Exactly. He hangs with Bieber. I don't know. But we walk that same path.
Well, he hangs with Bieber. You hang with somebody who loves One Direction. I mean, it's kind of the same thing,
Right.
Pretty close.
You know what? Speaking of which, some other side notes really quick. Warren Buffett, I guess I've never really heard that guy talk too much. He's hilarious.
He is.
He's just laughing all the time. And
that's what we were saying last night. It's like if I was however old he is and I was a multi-billionaire, I'd be smiling and laughing all day too.
Life would be one giant joke.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like, I am better than all of you. Mm-hmm. I get to do whatever I want whenever I want it. So, screw you guys. Which is what he does most times. He screws everybody over.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
But Mayweather, his pre-interview before he went into the ring was Warren Buffett there, and the guy seems pretty entertaining. And I tell you what excited me about it is he admitted this is his first time being around fights, first time being around sparring. Mm-hmm. Man, if he was to get involved and throw some money into boxing, it's good for everybody. Maybe throw some good fights and stuff like that.
Yeah.
the other thing I wanted to ask Jimmy here is, do you think, Argentina, very proud of Marcus Maidana?
Yeah.
I felt that his performance was embarrassing last night. If you're an Argentinian today, are you proud with his performance? I mean,
no, and you could kind of see that with the crowd as when it first started off, when the fight started, the crowd was very vocal in favor of Maidana. And then as the fight progressed, the crowd got more and more subdued because I don't think they were proud of him. I don't think they liked what he was doing. I wouldn't say necessarily he was an embarrassment, but he was definitely a disappointment.
Yeah, and I don't know why. I know every boxer thinks they win every decision and stuff, but his comments after the fight even get you more head scratching. There's no way. I don't think he thinks he won. I thought Garcia's. I talked about this last night at the bar with some people. I think Garcia maybe talked a little bit too much for Maidana, probably because of the language barrier there, but I think a lot of the motivation that Mayweather had to just cream his opponent was from Garcia at press conferences talking a lot of smack with Mayweather. It seemed like Mayweather and Garcia were getting into it more than sometimes Maidana on that little media tour. So I don't think that helped his client at all. But later in the night, he admitted that how many people have tried to figure out Mayweather? No one has
what he
figured
said.
it out.
He's been the best fighter in the world for the last 10 years. What are you going to do? That was pretty much his comment.
And it's exactly right. I mean, it's just that exactly. And that's why I think maybe Maidana did bite down on the hand, is that I think he was frustrated, didn't know what to do. I mean, him backing up was just a huge concession. Here's the aggressor backing up. He's supposed to be the guy that's bringing the fight to Mayweather, and Mayweather's moving it forward.
Yeah.
So that's our whole take on everything about the Mayweather fight. I hope you guys all enjoyed that. We're going to talk just a little bit about MMA here because some things are happening in the MMA world. Bellator was in... is that Troy, Michigan? Where's Suburban Show Place? That's Novi, Michigan. Novi, Michigan.
Yeah.
So a lot of our friends were fighting. Jason Fisher won, which is huge. In a big deal. But let's talk about the main people, the UFC people, because we haven't touched base on them. Dana White said the other day that GSP would be able to get a title shot right away when he came back. He could choose any fight he wanted. And from a couple sources I hear is that he's rehabbing an injury, but he's hoping to make a comeback to MMA, which this league is starving for more of their superstars back. Jones got injured and pushed the fight back to January with Cromer. And so basically what you have now is if GSP gets back in the mix, it's a little bit of an adrenaline shot, a little bit of a boost to the UFC. They need it. GSP maybe coming back to the UFC. That's a great thing. It makes me wonder, though, because he had all these rules about how he wanted steroids and all this stuff tested, if it's just a concession on his part that, like, okay, well, I hope one day it is, or if he feels that now the testing's up to the level he was originally complaining about. That would be a great question to ask him when he's back around. But he's nursing an injury, and he will be back.
Do you know what kind of injury?
I thought it was a shoulder. You could look it up.
Okay,
I mean, it's definitely public knowledge. But yeah, GSP maybe possibly coming back. And then I wanted to talk about this just briefly because it's all over the news. And I know, Avenue, you're a huge football guy. I just saw you'd rather be on the couch watching football than here with us.
I didn't say that.
But
I'm sorry, it's ACL injury.
Okay.
Yep.
But Ronda Rousey talked out a little bit about this. How do you not? Everyone's getting approached with it. Dana White had to answer a question about it. Roger Goodell, the NFL head chief, the protector of the shield, as the NFL's called because of their logo, basically is in a lot of hot water now because he might have had video of the Ray Rice, and that video is brutal.
Yeah, it is.
He connects.
It's pretty bad.
I have seen boxers not get hit as hard as she did.
I was going to say, it actually makes sense to talk about that here with
exactly.
Hand Combat Radio.
Kidding. Oh, man. That was, I mean, it's hard to watch. It really is.
Yep, and the first video that the NFL said they had was the dragging out video, but now it appears maybe the NFL did have the video. I think the NFL's too big. I've said this a million times. I thought when Vince McMahon tried to do the XFL thing and stuff like that, as much misguided as it was, I think the NFL is too big and sometimes makes just rules to make rules up.
It's the largest non-profit that I know of.
Exactly. Can you believe they're non-profit?
I'm just saying.
That's just ridiculous.
Wait. Huh?
Yeah.
They're not non-profit.
They are officially a non-profit organization.
No, that's not possible because in order to be a non-profit organization, they can't make a profit, and they make a profit.
Well, let's see. Let's see their tax code and status here. They are tax exempt.
Profit.
Why, he's looking that up.
And for the record, in 2012, they lost money, but that's just
all right. Hold on here. I'm gonna look it up here. It says should tax exempt the NFL's nonprofit status by the numbers. National drama, the Ray Rice. But
what I wanted to say,
keep going. I'm sorry,
Ray Rice now is suspended indefinitely. He probably shouldn't ever be back in. I'm surprised in a way.
Oops.
That Roger Goodell put himself in this position when he came in and he took over for Paul Tagliabue. You remember?
I do.
He seemed like a guy that was just going to be non-business, whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know what do you think Ray Rice sold him as a bill of goods that he only got 2 games?
I just think that in general, the NFL it's a bit of a good old boys network. I mean, there's been 2 major issues that have been popping up lately, if you think about it. There's this thing with domestic violence that's been a pretty large issue in the NFL. And there have also been other racial / sexual issues. And what we're seeing is that a lot of people in the NFL, it's just kind of like, it's chummy. It's everyone's smacking themselves on the back. Hey, how you doing?
It's the good old boy.
It's the good old boy network. And even down with the players. Because, I mean, during some of the things that have gone on, like with the Richie Incognito and the bullying case in Miami, there were a lot of folks who were saying, hey, this is the NFL. This is how we talk. It's locker room chat. This is what we do. No. It's no different from the barber shop or whatever. And in some cases, I guess I could see that, but however, still you've got to uphold yourself to some type of standard no matter where you're at.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's not an excuse.
So I looked it up. The NFL is tax exempt. It gained its status in 1944. It's a 501c6 status. In 1966 when it merged with the American Football League. But unlike charitable nonprofits or 501c3 organizations, means the NFL is a trade organization. It does not include the league's 32 individually owned franchises. So the franchises are taxed.
Right.
Yes. Wow. But the NFL itself is nonprofit, but it makes $10 billion annually.
Exactly.
But nonprofit.
But it's nonprofit. It is
a team store that probably, since I've mentioned Team Store, has gotten 400 visits and people bought something from the Team Store.
I just got to say it's BS because
it is BS.
I'm broke and I'm a nonprofit legally.
Yeah,
I'm actually non-profitable. What's my status?
Take that status away from the NFL. And I mean, I don't know, are all sports franchises like that, or is it just the NFL?
I don't know. We'll have to look that up.
Because if it's all sports franchises, tax the living you-know-what out of them, put it back into the economy, and we can probably solve this budget. $10 billion annually.
No,
annually.
If you tax the major league sports, then yes.
Yes.
All of a sudden,
make
a dent into that deficit.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
And you know what made me sick is there was pictures of girls wearing Ray Rice jerseys this week.
Well,
at the freaking
press conference.
Well, look,
Ravens.
There's some things we're just going to have to realize in life. There are women, and let's just be honest here. There are women who are in situations like that who continuously go back, including the wife of Ray Rice, who has told the media and told people, hey, look, we're working on this, we're dealing with this, respect our privacy. And there are women who,
No, she's upset because they're suspending him, and that gets rid of her payday.
Of course.
Yep.
That's the only reason they got married.
Exactly.
She's like, oh, yeah, you're going to pay for this for real.
Right.
By the way, let's get married. Oh, I still love you. Now her problem, she's got a bigger problem now.
Right, because now everybody knows what he does to her.
Right. Right. And he's no longer going to have that level of active income.
Exactly.
So expect them to get a divorce within the next few months.
Well,
by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Settlement.
I called that. You heard
settlement.
it here first.
Yep.
Yeah, settlement.
Settlement.
Yep. You can expect that
Yep.
within the next few months.
Yep.
All around, though, a bad week for the NFL. Adrian Peterson now indicted by Child Protective Services for using
Oh my God.
a switch, which, believe it or not, that was the first time I heard
Okay.
what a switch is.
Really?
Wait.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. And here's the thing: if using a switch is child abuse, then I don't know like what the statute of limitations are on that, but I know there is a lot of kids in my generation, the generation above me, that all their parents, their grandparents, and everybody would all have to go to jail for child abuse because that was a very common way of punishing your
It
children.
was overly common. In fact, we became a politically correct society more so, especially in the 1990s.
Yes.
And all of a sudden now, things like that, basic forms of corporal punishment.
Yeah,
basically. That's all it was.
Yep.
We all went
Switch,
through
belt,
it. Now all of a sudden,
wooden
it's a
spoons.
little too far. You can't
Yeah.
even yell at your children in public, although some people have seen taking it extreme.
Well,
Yeah.
these are the things that jump out at me, though, and why I think he was in the wrong. It was a 4-year-old. What could a 4-year-old
Yeah,
do
no, that's
that
wrong.
earned you?
Yeah,
a
no,
switch?
no.
Now,
A switch
you're
is
talking a
something-
13-year-old that
I'm
steals
talking
money out of your wallet or
Well,
something?
I'm talking like from like 10 on up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
10, yeah.
A 4-year-old.
Four-year-old.
What did he do to deserve?
No. A four. See, like, and that's kind of like where you start to draw the line is school children. If they're younger than school children, there's a spanking might be necessary, but not a switch. Once they get to like maybe I would even say like as young as 8 years old, not a thick one, but like a small one. I have a buddy whose dad used to grow bamboo poles in his backyard. And when my buddy would get in trouble, his dad would make him go outside, choose his own switch, and bring it back inside. Now, if it was too thick, because if it's really thick, it doesn't hurt as much. And if it's too thin, it doesn't hurt as much. You have to have that one that's just right. So if he picked the wrong one, he would make him go out there and pick it again, but now he would get double what he was going to get before. Yeah. But my friend's dad was kind of a sadistic bastard. But that was a very common thing, My mom used wooden spoons on us.
I guess there's been, this will make you happy, Jimmy, in a way, but then also make you mad. I guess there's been some senators complaining for a while that the NFL shouldn't have this tax-exempt status. One is Tom Coburn from Oklahoma. He's a senator. He had crafted a bill to end NFL's $9 billion per year tax-exempt status. Here's the thing he said, though, really quick.
Okay.
This is a direct tax cut to the league office, which means every other American pays a little bit more each year because we give the NFL league office a tax break and call them a nonprofit. In fact, they're not. And then he pointed out that the NFL commissioner makes $29 million a year.
Yeah, I don't doubt it.
$29 million.
I don't
Well,
doubt
that's
it.
why I hope he resigns. The inside sources say that he will not resign over this, but this is...
Well, it doesn't matter if he resigns or not. The next guy's going to make $29 million.
No, I'm talking about the Ray Rice thing.
Yeah,
It's
I know.
such an oversight.
I know.
And he came in Avenue because he's such a football fan. Well, no, he came in as supposed to be this integrity guy, this honest.
Yep.
I'm going to clean this stuff up and stuff. And
You can't clean up. I'm sorry. When you have a boys club like that, you're not going to be able to clean it up unless you get rid of the boys.
And I love that everybody's saying, "Oh no, he had access to it," or somebody in the
I'm sure
NFL
he did.
now.
I'm sure they did.
I tell you what, if I'm under him, like a few under, if I'm if I'm director of
Whistleblower?
if I'm director of I'm director of something, I'm gonna be scared to death. He's gonna say it was under my desk or something. Hey, we're gonna give you some money, but you're gonna take the grenade
take the
on this.
fall.
That you never gave me the tape.
You know that one, that's about to happen.
Yeah.
Anyway. They're working on that
Yeah.
now. But two,
Who's
you
gonna be the
know
fall
that with
guy?
that
Yeah.
level of power and that money that they had, they probably had the tape before the police did.
Right. It's
Let's
like,
just be honest.
Oh, honest, and you know what? No, I guarantee you, an officer got the tape, took it directly to the NFL office,
Exactly.
and said, "You might want to bury this." Yep. I guarantee
I can
you.
see it. This is on some Watergate level stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Well, I think the NFL's big enough to do something like that.
Yeah,
I think they can just
absolutely.
aspire. And the bad thing about it too is
They
that
make more money than some small countries.
Exactly. And then Carolina Panther player had.
I'm looking at that now. Yeah.
So what a
Greg
bad
Hardy.
week for the NFL.
He's been deactivated, which is good for us.
You know what? You know what? I have to say this. I just have to put this out there. I think it's a conspiracy because in the same year that the Lions start playing well, all this bad stuff starts happening in the NFL. I'm just saying it's a conspiracy.
Oh.
They're trying to keep Detroit down. They're trying to keep Detroit down.
But they're not keeping Detroit down. Everyone else is getting screwed right now.
But what I'm saying is like they're taking away the focus from the Lions doing so well by making all these scandals happen.
I love how you say by the Lions doing so well, we're 1-0. We're undefeated.
But
so
no,
far.
we're 2-0.
Oh, we're sorry. I'm sorry.
We're 2-0.
We're 2-0.
No, we're 1-0. We've only
2-0.
played. What?
No,
They've
we're
only
one.
played Monday?
He's saying we're going to beat Carolina today.
Oh, okay, I gotcha. I think we're 1-0.
And he's right. We are going to beat Carolina with or without Greg Hardy. We're going to beat them anyway. But yeah.
Here, I wanted to talk really quickly about it because she's huge in our sport. Our last 3 minutes, UFC Ronda Rousey, of course, weighed in on the Ray Rice domestic abuse case, as she's one of the biggest figures in UFC. Everyone goes to her for, statements and stuff like that. But she had a message for all women in the aftermath of the Ray Rice scandal is know what you're worth. I thought that was really good. She said she couldn't believe her eyes watching the video for the first time, which I think everybody... I was actually appalled by the first video I saw where he was dragging her out of the elevator, and then you see the one that TMZ got. And by the way, is there anything TMZ can't get?
No.
They are just amazing.
TMZ is the greatest investigative journalism. I mean, yes, they're tabloid, but they get stuff. They get stuff. If you want to know what's really going on, follow TMZ because they will find things that other people won't.
The only people better than TMZ at that are the CIA.
Or the British tabloids.
Yeah.
Yes.
The British tabloids and the CIA.
It goes British tabloids, CIA, MI6, TMZ.
But she did go on to say that I think you need to respect yourself to see what you're worth and really know what you're worth. Then she would say that she had a message of women. Unfortunately, I think a lot of women undersell themselves. They don't know how much they really deserve. I know for a fact that women deserve more than what she believes. So I'm hard on Ronda Rousey all the time, but it was actually a really good statement. Also, UFC Dana White, who we are hard on sometimes, implied that if the NFL commissioner Roger Goodell knew about this, he should step down. That's going to be the tough sticking point, proving that he knew about it. We got to have somewhere where somebody's like, yeah, we watched it together, so I know. Or somebody that gets out. But once again, NFL is worth a lot of money. And if they do pick a fall guy, that guy's going to be paid forever. They're going to give him like 20 Michael Vick jerseys and like a $20,000 check.
Well, no, I was going to say that they'll give him 2% of the annual revenue for the rest of his life.
But they're non-profit, so it would be tough to show that on the books, wouldn't it? They're non-profit.
A little bit.
maybe they'll have like the World League.
That's just what's above board. You have no idea what's going on beneath board.
Exactly. On Tuesday, we should have Ronnie Ostian and his dad in studio with us. Ronnie's dad is actually hilarious, and Ronnie Austin is he's fighting October 3rd, I believe it is, at the Masonic Temple.
Okay.
Also, really quickly, I want to start hyping this up. The Fight Zone, November 4th. We will be there. The show Tuesday night. Not only are we there for the show, but the Fight Zone's back. We will be there for the Monday weigh-ins. Hoist Gracie will be in town. So it's going to be huge. We want to start hyping that up. And then, one more thing I forgot. The 19th, which is Friday, coming up, you can see Camille, Juju, and you can see Nikki Nove. They are going to be, is it Penelope Vanu in Southgate, Michigan on Dix Highway for the 2-movie wrestling thing. You're gonna see me just pound this all week, so you'll know where to see these guys. And so tickets are $10 for that. So very cool. Thank you very much, Thomas McGee. Thank you very much, Down Round. Thank you very much, Avenue. Thank you very much, Jimmy. We'll see everybody on Tuesday. Everybody have a...
Thanks for listening to our show. Once again, we are on Tuesdays from 9 to 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and Sundays from noon to 1. You can listen to us on www.rawradiox.com or on the TuneIn app.